So this week we start reviewing the new Batman Adventures. We're talking about it right now. Hello friends, welcome back to the show. So glad to see you once again. And if you're new here, boy, have you tuned in at the appropriate time, because we're just getting ready to review each and every episode of the first season of the new Batman Adventures. If you grew up on this show and enjoyed watching it as a kid, you're going to enjoy it even more as we talk about it from the lens today, looking back on the show. So if this sounds like something you might be interested in, be sure to click the subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any of the episodes as they come out.
Whoa, this is like totally amazing.
So we finished the first season of Superman the Animated Series, and as I had mentioned in a previous video, my logic was, rather than doing all of the Superman the Animated Series episodes and then doing the new Adventures of Batman, I decided to alternate seasons. The reason being is that after the first season of Superman the Animated Series, they combined the two shows. If you remember, there was a 1-hour block where they would show a Superman episode and a Batman episode and intermingle them, and it was the new Superman Batman Adventure Time hour, whatever it was called. So rather than trying to line up the premiere dates exactly and do a Superman episode here and a Batman episode here and then another Batman episode and Superman, Batman, Superman, I decided to just break it up in chunks of seasons. So it doesn't exactly line up with the airing order of these episodes. This just helped keep my mind organized, and how to work through this seemed to be the most logical choice. Who knows if it's right or wrong, but once the episodes are out there, you can watch them in any order you want.
Very good, sir.
I, like most people, don't give the new Adventures of Batman a lot of credit. As a huge fan of the original Batman the Animated Series, this felt very different. The animation was different, more stylized, and it just wasn't the same as the old show. And by the time this came on in 97, I was now 15 years old and getting into high school. And again, I would catch these episodes here and there as I watched them, but I was still more of a fan of the old show, and certainly wasn't watching this as regularly as I was watching the original Batman Adventures.
Hi-ho, couch potatoes.
So I'm looking forward to going back and rewatching these. Some of these for the first time, much like what it was for me watching the Superman Adventures. As I recapped in the end of the first season Superman episode, if you haven't watched that, you can click on it here. I came around to enjoy this style and this type of episode. And the animation in Batman, this is really kind of a transition period. So we had the original series that really pretty much stood on its own. Now we have a Superman series, which pretty much stands on its own in a different style. And now this is sort of the transition era of Batman to match it up a little bit more with the Superman style, so that, and I don't know if this was the plan at the beginning of this, but so that we can start moving into the Justice League. And that's where I started getting back into watching this regularly.
3 muggers, 2 armed robberies. It's been a quiet evening.
Yes, there was a deliberate effort to match the style to Superman, because in the animation style, so that they could put them in a 1-hour block and it felt like one show. But it also, there were some budgetary constraints. They were now churning out episodes for 2 different series. And so there was a lot more episodes that they're producing and a quicker turnaround time. And they've now moved to the Kids WB. And so budget-wise, money was different. And so they made these choices to turn these episodes out a little bit differently. But even with that, in the style of how they do the episodes, it still has that noir, grittier look. The line art matches the style of Superman, where it's a more of a streamlined, more stylistic design of the characters, but it still has a different overall feel from Superman. And I think that they did something very smart with this. I know something that's talked a lot about in the new Adventures is kind of the new character designs. I'm kind of on the fence about it. I think that there were some designs that I liked better, and we'll talk about that as the different characters come up. And there were some designs that I did not like as much. But in general, I'm okay with the change because I think they made a really great decision to not just let's pick up where we left off and now change the look of the show and just keep making the same type of episodes. But they really changed the story and the tone of the episodes. One, they made it later. So now they have Dick Grayson is now grown up and is going to become Nightwing. And we have a new Robin. We introduced the Tim Drake Robin into the series. And Batgirl also plays a bigger role in this. So now they're building out this Batman family. And a lot of the episodes truly spend more time focused on these other characters rather than just having it be about Batman. Although he's in most of the episodes, I believe, sometimes he doesn't play as big of a role. And so I think that was a smart decision to restart, refresh, start this new series, not new characters, but a different focus of the characters. And with that, it makes sense that some of the villains now have also evolved and gotten older and gotten different. And, you know, there's some stark changes that come in the characters. And again, we'll get into all those details in each individual episodes as we talk about, you know, Scarecrow or Mr. Freeze that have some of the more drastic changes to their character. But I think it makes sense. They justify that by going, oh, this is later in the history of Batman. And even Batman himself, although they changed the design of Bruce Wayne, he now has blue eyes and just a little bit of a slimmer look to him and not as square of a jaw. His personality has changed, which I think is kind of cool because he is now, Bruce Wayne is even a little bit darker, a little bit grittier. There's not as much of a change. Kevin Conroy does less of a change to his voice when he's Bruce Wayne versus Batman. So that's very appropriate for an older Batman. We're kind of getting into that Ben Affleck type of Batman. I can't believe I just compared it to Ben Affleck. But we're getting into that older, grittier, worn down Batman in this type of series.
Are you looking for sympathy?
From you? Heaven forbid.
And I did read that Paul Dini originally wanted to name the series Batman Gotham Knights, which again plays more into, hey, it's a different series. But the other producers didn't really like the sound of that title, so they moved to the New Adventures, which again, I think it separates it from the old show and lets the old show stand on its own and be its own series. And now this is sort of a new series. I know when they released the DVDs, this was the volume 4 or the 4th season, if you will. But to me, it's a different series and it's a different style and there's different aspects to the episode. And so for me, I look at it, I treat it as a separate series.
I really have to congratulate myself on this one.
And because of that, I will be, as I go through and I review each of these episodes, I'm going to be ranking them on their own list. I'm not going to be ranking them against the rank that I already had established for Batman the Animated Series. Although I know a lot of people do that, and a lot of people have a top 10 list of Batman that includes some of the episodes from the New Adventures. And maybe I'll do that in the future, but for right now, I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna treat it as its own series and start a fresh list of my favorite episodes. And then maybe once I'm done with the whole series, I'll blend that together with at least my top 10 list of my favorite overall Batman episodes. So let me know, what episode are you most excited about talking about on here? Of the new Batman adventures. Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, please click the like button. And if you're looking forward to seeing more adventures of the new Batman adventures, episodes of the new Batman adventures, then hit subscribe because we're going to be releasing new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, starting with this Thursday as we talk about the first episode, Holiday Nights. So you don't want to miss that. As always, I'm Andy Knode. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.